I found on Crossfire that 13 was the good setting. I know
Yeah.
Paul was quite often used 31. But the thing is, if you found a sweet spot, stick with it.
Well, I've just tried out. I've read about it yesterday. I'm just trying to look at something. It did mention that figure, so I just tried it because I hadn't had nothing in the last couple of days, and then these two have come in today. So
Yeah, it's worth sticking with it.
Yes. All the way up and down.
Just try to find where we are. Okay, so Gary's on.
Yeah, I'm not muted.
Gary's on. Curtis is on.
Yeah,
Tony.
sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
All right. Okay. Um, we've all made that mistake. Okay, so I'll get started because there's some high impact news at 12:30. We need to be conscious of that. So just bear with me 1 second. So you should be seeing my MT5 screen any second now. And there you go. Okay, so I'm going to reduce that down. And yeah, I was saying there's quite a lot of high impact red flag news on both the US dollar and the Canadian dollar coming up at 12:30. So that's in 28 minutes time. If I just make this panel bigger, you can see that the MT5 news filter is working. It's got a red vertical line there. And if I hover over it, if it will let me, it let me before, I don't see why it doesn't now, but anyway, but there we go. It's telling me that at 15:30, but that's because my broker's 3 hours ahead of myself. So that's 12:30 Canadian dollar GDP. There's also a whole host of other red flag items. So I'm expecting a bit of a price movement at 12:30. I've set my trading assistant not to get me into a trade 5 minutes before that item and 5 minutes after that item. So one thing that's missing right now on my screen is the timeline. So I'm just going to go into my experts. I'm going to right click on anywhere on the chart, go to expert list and see what I've got in my properties here. I'm asking it to start trading. Hang on, and that's the problem. So I need to change that to 12. I did change it before, but actually I've just loaded up another there we go. So that's the 1 o'clock vertical line. So that's a 12 o'clock vertical line. It's saying 1500, but that's because my broker's 3 hours ahead. So it's 12 o'clock. And we monitor these, or the trading assistant monitors these 15 1-minute candles until we reach that green line, which is the 12:15 line. So the first part of the Crossfire strategy is we're looking for the highest point within that 15 minutes, and we're looking for the lowest point within that 15 minutes. Now, let's take this. If this were to remain the lowest point here, the trading assistant would look left, and it would look to find the nearest lower candle. So that bottom of that one there would probably be, and it would draw a line from the bottom of that candle to the bottom of that candle and continue it on until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. And similarly with the highest point, if that were to remain the highest point, it would look left for the nearest higher point. And so it would go to that candle there, and it would draw a line down and all the way, touching the top of that candle, touching the top of that candle, and continuing on until 3 o'clock. So that's what we're waiting for. We no longer have to draw those trend lines on ourselves, which we used to do until we got this trading assistant. So I believe we've now got the trend lines drawing accurately. We had a little bit of a glitch, and Oliver has fixed that. we need to keep an eye on it just to make sure it's accurate. So the 3 vertical lines I've already explained. I'm going to go through what else I can see on my chart and just try and explain everything. Now, I just mentioned that I've got a new version. So I'm operating on, if I go to View and Navigator, you'll see I've just got from Oliver this morning an updated version, and it's 2.00 and I've literally just loaded it up onto my MT5. These are just very minor changes, and I'm just going to monitor them before I discuss them. I believe they're just about the Heiken-Asher candles in relation to how long we wait until we get into a trade. And the other thing I asked Oliver to look at was the water atta, the length of time we wait once that's in place. So I'm just going to what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change this blue line, which is just about visible, but I'm trying to make it more visible. So I've right-clicked on my chart. I've gone to indicators. The first thing I notice is I've got 2 HA smooth. I like to keep this clean. I only need 1 HA smooth. That can slow down your computer if you've got duplicates. I'm going to double click on the water atta, go to colors, and change that to white and make the lines a bit thicker. And of course, I'm going to have to do this on all 4 sets because I've just loaded this new version up. So you see that that line has now changed from a dark blue to a white. It's much easier to see. I'm going to reduce that, and if I hover over that white line, I can drag that white line down. It's not. There we go. Drag that down a little bit. So I'm on all 4 pairs. Have now got the latest version, but I'm going to go back through them and change the starting time. So get rid of navigator. So I've already changed it on that one. I need to change it on the other 3. So right click on the chart, expert list, properties, and I'll go to start time. And again, I need to change that 12. Okay. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do is that. I'm confusing the issue now. I just want to click on OK because that is the correct. Let me just double check. Right, I'm going to go back, expert list, properties. Just check that I've changed that. Well, what I was also going to try and change was, or to check on, is that we've got the correct set list. So 696969 is my magic number. That's the same magic number on all 4 pairs in the afternoon session. I use a different magic number for the morning pairs. So there we are, we've got that. We now need to change this blue line to white. It was white, but it changes each time you add a new component. So there we go. That's not what I want. That isn't what I wanted. Double click on WAE colors. Make that white. Okay, so that chart is now up to date. I'm just going to check, see if there's anybody waiting in the waiting room, because the waiting room caused a bit of a problem last time. No, Ellen's got in okay, so that's obviously not an issue right now. It's okay. Put that down. Okay, so I've changed 2 pairs. I need to go back and change the other 2 pairs. I've got the timelines on those 2. I need to change it on these 2. Right click, expert list, properties. I've just checked there, Vigilab. I'm on the correct settings. I just need to change them. This is just a temporary thing, by the way. This is just due to the fact that the UK clocks have gone back by 1 hour and the US clocks don't go back until next weekend. We just need to compensate for that. There's the lines, and I'm going to change this to white. We've got 3 HA smooth. I only need 1. I don't know if anybody caught a bit of that conversation I was having with Gary when I started. He was saying he's had some success on the radar this morning, and he thinks it might well be due to the fact he's got his HA smooth setting on, did you say 8, Gary? I think you said 8.
Yeah.
And it's given him 2 winning trades this morning, so that might be something worth sharing in the trade chat. My Heiken-Ashi smooth Heiken-Ashi candles are set at 13. Paul very often uses 31. I saw somebody this morning was using 38, and Gary's using 8. So I'll just explain what difference that would make as well. I'm going to change the color first. Colors white. Okay, so that's changed to white. So that's 3 pairs done. I'll do the 4th one, then I'll explain what difference the smooth Heiken-Ashi value makes. We'll go back to, we just need to change this last pair, and we're still not quite at 15 minutes past, so I haven't missed anything. Right click, expert list, properties. We're on the right magic number, we're on the right set. Just need to change that to 12.
Richard, I noticed on this you're only putting start times and not finish times. Is that just for this week, or is it because you manually close your crossfires, when you finish, sort of thing?
Sorry, Tony, you're really quiet on my computer.
Sorry, right. I noticed you're only putting a start time on.
Yes.
And not a finish time. Is that because you sort of manually trade them, or is that just for this week?
No,
with it being?
It's a feature of the Crossfire trading assistant that you only need to put the start time on. It's the other trading assistant that Paul goes through. You need to put a start and the finish time on.
Okay, thank you.
For some reason, I don't know why, whether it was deliberate or not, but Oliver only requires a start time. And I better go back and just further explain that. I'm going back to expert list. I'm going back to properties, and I'll just explain that we're starting at 12. The way that we get it to finish is that we tell it how many minutes we want this to apply. So if I'm starting at 12, I want it to run till 3 p.m. because I've got it set at 180 minutes. So that's how it knows when to start, and that's how it knows when to finish.
Yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to change this blue line to white, and then we'll talk about the trend lines. Indicator lists. Get rid of the duplicates. Colors. White. Right, so that's all 4 charts set up. I'll just talk about those Heiken-Ashes as well whilst I'm at it. So indicator lists. SFF HA smooth, that's the smooth Heiken-Ashes that we keep talking about. If I double click on that, you'll see that the value, the smoothing period on my trading assistant is 13. I found trading manually at 13 was kind of a sweet spot. What it refers to is the number of candles. So if you look at the actual candles, have now changed to a green line. So these are the smooth Heiken-Ashes, the bright green and the bright red. And each one of those candles is based on the previous 13 candles. And it smooths out the volatility in the actual price. So it kind of follows the price, but it smooths the price out. And it does that by looking back at the previous, in my case, at the previous 13 candles. It's not quite as straightforward as that because there's a little bit more added into the equation, but it gives you a smoothed out version of the price. And you can see that one of the important factors in the trading assistant, in the crossfire trading assistant at least, is if there's been a recent change, such as just occurred here, you can see that the red Heiken-Ashi, smooth Heiken-Ashi bars or candles change from being red to being green. So there's a change of Heiken-Ashi direction in the previous 13 candles. It's detected a slight movement upwards, and of course you can see the price has already gone upwards. And part of the crossfire strategy is we wait until there's been a recent change in Heiken-Ashi direction and color. So there's a recent change, and if everything else stacks up, my trading assistant will get me in for a buy because it's now changed to buy. It won't actually get me in. In fact, I'll just use this as an example. We are above the green trend line, therefore I'm only looking for buys, and that it tells me that here. Look, it says looking for an HA buy signal. So we're looking for a buy. The second thing is, have we had a recent HA change? And yes, so that's 2 confirmations for a buy. But my third confirmation for a buy on my settings at any rate is I want this 13 moving average. That's different to the 13 Heiken-Ashi change, but by coincidence my moving averages are 200 moving average, the white line, and 13 moving average, the yellow line. I want that yellow line to cross over the white line. Now, for some reason, I've just lost my cursor. Don't know what's going on there. What is happening? Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, I'll just carry on talking. So basically, it's not going to get me in until the yellow trend line crosses over the white trend line. Now, there are occasions when you might wish to ignore the MA crossover if you think that price is going in your direction. Now, this isn't one of them, by the way, because we've been in a sell, and if you look down at the water atta, I wish I could indicate this well. But just got me into a buy on Euro card. It's a bit difficult to do this without a cursor. Let me just try something.
Give your mouse a good hard shake as if it was going to all the different corners. Come back.
It's doing some weird and wonderful things. And I'm struggling. Yeah, I'm on a laptop, so I've got a trackpad rather than a mouse, and it's just not responding at all. It's a touch screen, and it's just not responding to the touch either. Let me see if I can.
You may have to reboot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it's not responding. Wow. That's convenient, isn't it?
If it's a wireless mouse, sometimes you can just cut the mouse off and back on again, and that'll fix it.
But no, it's a trackpad.
He's not got a mouse. He's using a laptop, and that'll teach you. Get a decent.
Oh,
Yeah, I've just used.
no, you're screwed then.
Right, just give me 1 second, and I shall try and. Whenever this has happened in the past, I've just continued by using the touch screen until it put itself right. But there's nothing responding to anything. I just got it completely dead. I can't even turn it off. Right. I would love to be following.
Will it let you do escape?
No, it's not responding at all.
Put your finger on the power button and just hold it down until it goes dark, and then boot it back up. Not on.
Yeah, I was going to say you have to hold your start button down for about 6 seconds and it turns off, but you'll lose everything. Hey, Gary, you're now in charge.
While we're waiting, I'll say it's good to have Anne back.
Thank you.
Yeah, how did you get it to work again, Anne?
Oh, I have no idea. Richard had to send me a fresh invitation today that will work one time only. If I try and use it again on another time, nope.
How bizarre.
I know, it is weird. So, poor man, he said, yeah, I'll just send you a new link every time. It's like, for God's sake, but I've tried everything. I've tried deleting the whole of Zoom. I've tried going into my Zoom, just a general Zoom. It's like, No.
Weird.
Well, special treatment, hey, you get a new link every time.
Oh, do you know? It's some of us just have that touch,
Or not, as the case may be.
Yeah, exactly, or not. He recognizes me as special needs. It's okay. Oh dear. Yeah, no, I've been fine. Just to let you know, Tommy. Well, as fine as I'll ever be. But I've two of my adult children. I mean, they're still children, aren't they? It doesn't matter how old they are. But
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
of them ended up going into hospital at the same time, but in different
Oh, God.
cities.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah. So
Are they okay?
Are they all right now?
my eldest son is, he's poorly. I mean, at the best of times, he's poorly. So, he just has setbacks. So it's always a worry if he ends up in hospital. And my daughter just keeps having to have. She's had a problem with her leg, and then so she had an operation. Then she had another, and then they've just done this other operation. And she sent me a message today saying, I'm in bed for 6 weeks, but is it normal for my leg to go purple? It's like, because it's in the complete cast. I went, no, cast is on too tight. Tell them to get it sorted.
Gosh.
So it's
Yeah, that's
horrible when
scary.
you're not there and you're having to
It's
Yeah.
scary.
like, so, and there was no way I could focus on trading, and that I was like, no, that's not happening. So,
Of course not. Of course not.
How far away are they, Anne?
well, I'm in Manchester. Matthew is in Liverpool, so not too bad. But Elle is down in London. She lives in London, so she's at right in this. I mean, no chance of me getting down there. So it's all remote. It's horrible. Oh, and she's supposed to be moving to Dubai in January. So God alone.
Well, that'd be nice for you to go on holiday.
Well, I've already said that. already booked,
I wish one of mine would move to Dubai.
Sadly, she doesn't want to. Well, I'm saying she doesn't want to go. That's awful saying it in public. It's like, it's not really public, is it? It's not going to get back to her hip from here. But her a partner, he was asked to relocate to Dubai last year. And she said, I'm not keen. I don't mind it for a holiday, but I don't fancy living there. So that was an end to that. Anyway, his entire brokerage now has moved lock, stock and barrel across to Dubai. So he now has no choice. So, so they have to go. So it's a bit, I know it sounds really awful. First world problems, have to go live in Dubai. But they've got a little baby. She likes living here, so it's hard for her.
Yeah. I see old Richard back up there.
Oh, Richard's back. Hi, Richard.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, no, he went away again.
So a friend of mine's got 3 boys, and they're kind of all around 30 now, but they all live in Dubai. So the first one went, and then his company said, "What? You've got a brother? Can he come too?" So the middle brother came, and then the third one said, "Well, I'm not staying in the UK if they're all out there. I'm going too."
Do you know? I've said it to all of mine. Anyone who you got anything about, you shouldn't be living in the UK anymore. We're down the toilet, aren't we? So
well, especially after yesterday.
Oh. So my I have one who lives in, that's another story. He's married. He's lived over there now for 20 years in Australia, but very nicely settled in Adelaide. And his wife is a doctor, but she's just got she got offered this very, very prestigious consultant post at Brisbane Hospital. One of these things that for your career, you can't really turn it down, So they're relocating, and I mean that's the thing in Australia, relocating from Adelaide to Brisbane. It's a bit like moving country, it's that the distances. So they're all.
How many kids have you got? Don't you have still one that lives at home, David?
I do. I have, mind you, having said that, David is now busy looking at rental flats in Manchester, etc. He's doing very nicely. Thank you. He only trades 2 times a day. He trades from a signal that's, I'm saying a signal, it's he follows this 15-minute candle on the German 40. So he trades, he potentially trades at 8:30 in the morning. And then he follows the same system for the NAS at 3:00 in the afternoon. So you know what? He either makes a percent then, or he's doing.
How did he discover that? Did you teach it to him, or?
Well, it's one of. Do you remember me mentioning the school run? And the aggressive school run and the school run. Well, that's something that Tom Hogarth, is it Hogarth? I can never say his name. Oh, thank you. Right, I'll look at it in a bit. Has put together. He's been doing it for 15 years. So yeah. So I looked at it. I was just, I don't know, it's one of those things. Someone mentioned that he does a live Zoom and what have you. So I thought, I'll go on and listen. And he was talking about it, told David. David said, I like that. Let's have a look. So we'll look and see, does it fit in with, looking at different things. And it seems it's all about finding something that suits you at the end of the day, isn't it? It's what suits you, what times suit you, and go for it. Stick with the same thing. So that's what he does.
Okay, so I think I'm back.
Oh, hello. I've been telling everyone my life story. It's a good job you're back, Richard. They're all bored to tears.
Yeah, we're glad you joined the call. The host is Richard somebody. He's having computer problems. We've been gone so long we don't remember what his name was, but
to be fair, you haven't really missed much, because we got into the 5 minutes before the news, and it wouldn't allow me to take a trade, and we're still in the 5 minutes after the news. All I can say is that there was a big push down at 12:30 UK time, and now there's a big push up. So I'm reading that as price manipulation, because they've obviously been on a stop hunt. They've gone down to take out the stop losses below, and they've now gone up to take out the stop losses above, which is why I don't trade around the news. However, let me try and get back to where I was. I've now got my cursor back. And if I look at the 4 pairs, they're all, well, I'll just look at one pair. I'll go through what I've got on my screen just by way of explanation. So, as I said before, I've got a brand new version of Crossfire. It's 2.00 If it works, I'll publish it. Everything else will remain the same. The settings are the same as they were. But if you go down this, now I've lost my cursor again. So I'm looking at the panel, the blue panel on the right-hand side, and I've got the time, which is 12:34 on mine. That's because I'm in the UK. I've got HA signal short, which is telling me that that should be changing to long any second now, but it's saying the HA direction is long, so there's a conflict there, and we've just had a change of direction. So it's telling me there's one upward candle. There's actually 4 upward candles. That's a little bit of a problem. However, we wouldn't be getting in because the Wada Atta down at the bottom is telling me not to get in. It's a little bit difficult to do this session without a cursor, I'm guessing. What else? Oh, so if you stick with the blue panel there on the right-hand side, I've got, can you see, well, first of all, it's saying no trading because of news. That will change once we get past once we get past 12:35. So we're currently on the 12:35 candle, you'll see that no trading because of news disappear any second now. I'm guessing it's about 10 seconds. So we'll wait for that, and then I'll go down a little bit further to the trade risk. So we're back in trading mode now. We're now looking for a buy signal, and that's because we're above the green trend line. We're looking for a recent Heikin-Ashi change, and there has been a recent Heikin-Ashi change just after the 12:30 point. We are then looking for a recent moving average crossover. Now, we don't have a recent moving average crossover because my definition of a recent crossover is within the last 13 candles, sorry, within the last 12 candles. And the most recent crossover happened way back 11 would be about 11:35, something like that. So in my eyes, that's way too far in the distant past. I could change my mind about that if my Wada Atta was telling me that I should be in for a buy, and it's not. It's saying no trade. Now, if the Wada Atta was telling me quite strongly I should be in for a buy, I can always override that moving average cross requirement, and I can do that by clicking on that. There's a panel on the top left-hand side of the screen with a buy and sell button on, and a close buy and close sell button. You can literally just click on buy, and it will override the trading assistant. I wouldn't do that until the Wada Atta is strongly in favor of a buy. But if I did, it would enter the trade and it would use my criteria. It would use my stop loss, my take profit, and my lot size. And it would automatically get me out of the trade when it either hit my stop loss or hit my take profit. I can override that by clicking the close buy. So there's a buy button, the green one on the top left-hand corner. There's a close buy button immediately under the buy button. So you have an option if you want to override. And Gary, the other day, had his settings where the moving average was switched off, and he won it. Well, it got him into 4 trades, and my trading assistant didn't get me into any trades. So
She switched them all back on. I'm just worried about something, so I just thought today I switched them all back on, which is probably why I haven't had a trade either.
It's purely a personal thing. It's something I'm happy to do if conditions are right. The moving average crossover is based on my theory that if you get into a trade when there's just very recently been a crossover, the probabilities are that the trade is going to go in that direction, and it'll stay in that direction for a while. Whereas if you get in before the MA crossover, I think it's less probable that price will continue in that direction and stay in there for very much longer. So it's a personal thing, and I think you've got to do it by trial and error. I'm going to stick with having the moving average filter switched on, because I can actually sit and watch my trades. I think if I was letting the trading assistant run whilst I was away, I would prefer to have the moving average filter switched on. But in my case, I can have it switched on and then I can override it. I hope that makes sense. I've now got my cursor back for some reason. So let me just, if you follow my cursor now, I'm looking, what I'm trying to explain is the trade risk. And I know I've done this before, but it is really, really important. So I am telling my trading assistant that I want to risk 0.5%, a half of 1% on this particular pair. And the reason for doing that is because I'm looking at 4 pairs and I'm asking the trading assistant to group all those 4 pairs together to give me a maximum loss of 2%. So 4 times a half is 2%. So I'm exposing myself to a 2% loss on this session on these 4 pairs. So I've got to restrict the trade risk per pair to a 0.5%. Now it calculates that the amount that I'm prepared to risk. I've got $100,000 demo account, and I'm risking a 0.5%, so it equates to slightly more than $500 on this particular pair. So altogether, I'm risking $2,000 on these 4 pairs grouped together. And because I've told it what I want my stop loss to be, and I've told it what I want my take profit to be, it's automatically calculated my lot size. So we don't need to calculate a lot size before we get into a trade. The trading assistant does all of that automatically. Now there's another, so you can see my lot size on this particular pair is 16.66. So that is roughly, we're on a US dollar pair, so that's 1 pip will be $166 in either direction. Now I've got an exit type down there, and that is, I'm telling the trading assistant that I want to exit the trade when it's reached the point at which my risk to reward would be 1 to 2. So I'm risking 1 to make 2. In this case, I'm risking a 0.5% to make 1%. The bit underneath there, trading times, is telling me that the EA is, my cursor's disappeared again. The EA is working on 12 noon as a starting time, but the chart is working on 1500 hours. And that's because my broker is 3 hours ahead of me. And then underneath that, it's saying news. It would say news in 1 hour or whatever. It's actually saying no news in the next 3 hours. And then underneath that, you can see my daily target is $6,000, just over $6,000. My daily target loss is $2,000. And that currently I'm minus 0.59%. So that trade that it got me into just before I had these problems must have been a losing trade. I can't go to it because the touch screen's not working either. Does anybody have any questions? It's a bit difficult to talk any further without being able to switch around. I really don't want to go through the rebooting here. There must be something that I'm missing. Because with it being a touchscreen computer, you should be able to alternate between using the mouse and using the screen. Not giving me that option. I'm really struggling. Sorry about this. Does anybody have any questions? I can answer any questions to the best of my ability.
Have you got your set somewhere that you're using?
Yes, although I can't access it.
No, just
What I did this morning, it's not a straightforward set because can you?
oh, that was the one on Messenger, was it, where you put in the different times and everything else this
Yeah.
morning? Yeah, I can look at that.
Yeah, I tried to simplify it by sending you one set, and it was a set based on Euro USD, and it was what I call my 3-pip set, because Euro USD I want a 3-pip stop loss. The other 3 pairs that we're looking at this afternoon would be exactly the same set list, but with a 4-pip stop loss. So you've only got 2 different stop losses on an afternoon session. You've got 3 pips for Euro US, and you've got 4 pips for the other 3 pairs. And then it's a different setup for the early morning session. So the Euro, if you're trading, I know it's not strictly a cross-5 pair, but I do trade Euro USD, and I use the same set list, and I stick to 3 pips loss, so 3 pips stop loss. Obviously, I change my start time for the early morning session to 6 a.m. and I also change my magic number because I don't want the morning session to be associated with the afternoon session. So I've got a different magic number for the morning session, different magic number for the afternoon session. All of these 4 pairs that we're looking at today, right now, are one magic number, and all of the 5 pairs that I trade in the morning, I have a different magic number. The same on each of the 5 pairs, but different to the afternoon pairs. And the Euro US is 3 pips, the Australian dollar pairs are 4 pips, and the New Zealand dollar pairs are 5 pips. And that's the only difference. So I try to simplify it by sending out one set list and then explaining the differences. Because otherwise I will be sending out 9 different set lists. But I just thought that was slightly easier.
Thank you.
I'm happy to take any more questions, but I cannot do anything. So let me just try something else. I've got they gave me a pen to, like a pointer to use instead of a mouse. So I'll go and get that and I'll try that.
Is it me or can I see his cursor there? Just where it says exit type. Richard, can I see your cursor there by where it says exit type on your screen? Just sitting on your red line, on your trend line.
You might be able to, but I cannot.
Yeah, I can see it.
Is it moving now?
No, it's just fixed. It's still so. But it's there.
So this pen doesn't seem to have any effect either. So there's a task for me for this afternoon. I'm assuming that my trading assistant will continue to look for trades. On this pair that I can now see, there's no trading. Can you see the Euro USD chart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I'm going to say what I'm seeing now. The price is actually heading upwards. We are above the green trend line, so I'm looking for a buy. The trading assistant is confirming that in the blue panel at the right-hand side. So it's telling me it's only looking for buys. It's then going to look at the Hikanashi candles, and it's going to say, has there been a recent change? And there has, because 1, 2, 3, 4 candles ago, the Hikanashi were red and they're now green. So there has been a change in Hikanashi. So then it moves on to ask, have we had a recent MA crossover? And the answer is no, because my definition of recent is 12 candles. It will then, well, it'll stop at that point because it'll say there's no point in me looking at the fourth component because we haven't had an MA cross. But if I'm trading manually and I look at the bottom panel, where the water atta is, if what is currently a blue line, it would be a white line on my chart. That is actually pointing downwards. So that is another no-no. So it won't get me into a trade. Now, if the water atta, if that blue line had been pointing upwards away from the orange line, which is the dead zone, and the histogram bars had been a nice dark green and above the white line, you would have over on the near the top on the left hand side where it says WAE signal no, it currently saying no trade. If that said long, I might be tempted to ignore the fact that we didn't have a recent MA cross and get in for a buy, but I'm not getting in for a buy because the water atta is quite definitely telling me not to get in. And the reason it's telling me not to get in is because price has already started to turn. So that's the logic behind the strategy. And I think we're getting pretty close. I'm going to test this out. I'll probably need to test it out tomorrow morning now, but if this version that Oliver sent me this morning is working okay, I'll let everybody have that. So it's the one with the number 3 in the brackets.
So are you using the 1 minute time frame?
Yes. I'm currently using the 1 minute. However, one of the things that has changed in the recent versions is you now have the option to trade Crossfire on any time frame. It was restricted to 1 minute until Oliver changed it in the last few days. And what you need to do is go to, I'm trying to do it for you, but it won't work. On the top line, it says file view, insert and charts. If you click on charts, you get a drop-down menu, say something like time frames, and you can go down to 2 minutes or 5 minutes if you wish to.
Yeah.
That's something I was thinking about experimenting with, going back to the 2 minute time frame, but I can't do that right now.
Gary, I think you're doing all right on the 5 minute, aren't you?
Yeah, I am at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
I have moved that Ikanashi thing down to 8 though from 13. So I'm just wondering whether that's got something to do with it. I'm actually experimenting on the. I've changed all these over to 8 as well, just to try it out, and I've took the MA crossover off as well, just to see if it'll take any trades this afternoon to see where it goes with it.
yeah.
Are you experimenting with 8 on Raider as well as Crossfire, Gary?
Sorry?
Are you experimenting with 8 on Raider as well as Crossfire?
Yeah, that's why I changed it, because I don't think I'd had anything for a couple of days, so I changed it to 8. I mean, I've got me new. The only difference I think from the settings I think Paul gave out was, I'm doing the same 0.5% because I'm working on like 100,000 account, working on that sort of basis, and I've changed the news items. I don't get in for 15 minutes, but I get in after 5. So if obviously it's keep with a lot of news like I've had today, it's kept me out a lot today. But the only other thing was that smoothing Ikanashi, I've changed it to 8, and because I've had nothing for 2 days, it's brought those 2 in today. So Whether,
Okay,
whether
we'll give it a go.
whether that's the reason, I don't really know. But I'm assuming it's got something to do with it.
Is that a standalone Hakanashi or is it the straightforward?
Yes. That was on the where is it? Get back in it. Let's have a look. Just bear with me for a moment.
Oh, well, I mean, I presume Richard.
That was on. That was on this. This is the higher time frame, 5 minute on the settings.
Yeah. No, I'm
yeah,
just saying, is it on the straightforward? Is it the Hakanashi that's part of the straightforward indicator, or is it a
says
standalone?
on those settings, it says Ikanashi settings, wave short settings, and where we've got 13 in there, I've changed it to 8. That's all.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Right, okay, well, I just feel as if I'm wasting everybody's time, since I cannot.
No, it's been, well, for me, it's been
use
useful.
the,
Yeah.
I can't even change the chart, or if I can't do anything, I'm just stuck.
Well, your cursor's now purple, you see. We can tell
Yeah.
you that. It's gone from white to purple, but we can still see it.
Well, you can see it, I can't. So I'm going to have to reboot.
It'll be something daft. It'll be stuck on something.
Yeah, I need to reboot and rethink. Tony, thanks for jumping on. I shall be back on Tuesday, but it'll be 1 o'clock. We're back to the normal time next week, because the American clocks go back on Sunday, I believe.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And
Richard.
I have no idea why this link that you give me is a one-time only do, but I shall look forward to a new link on Tuesday then.
Did it say one time only, did it?
No, but that's what happened last time, isn't it? Do you remember? It worked once and then wouldn't work again. So this new one that you've given me has worked. So hey,
Oh well, I'll publish a new one every time.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Cheers now.
Thanks, everyone. See you.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers now. Bye.